I'm gonna try to act as normal as possible. Okay. I forgot how to do an intro. How did I do my intros? Hello you guys. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're not new, well, welcome back. There's so much I have to catch you guys up on. I've missed being in front of the camera and talking to you guys, even though I know you guys aren't like physically here. I know it's through the camera, but I just miss just sitting here and having conversations with myself. I found this all the time as a output for me to express myself and be creative. It's been a really long time since I've seen myself in a full face of makeup. Like, I haven't done my makeup in a really long time. I'm gonna start off by saying that I know we are going through a crisis worldwide, and I feel for everything that's going on, and my heart goes out to those who have been infected, the children, the elderly, anyone, everything that's going on in Europe. And it's just really heartbreaking, and just trying to find peace in the middle, in the midst of this chaos, is just so crazy, and that God will help us through it. The importance and the key in all of this is that we just ask God for mercy, and we pray for forgiveness, because as a nation we have strayed away from God. We need to get back on our feet. Our economy is suffering, our families are suffering, our nation is suffering, and so many other people worldwide, and we just need to continue to pray and continue to have faith that God will make a way in all of this. So yeah, in case you guys have not noticed, this is a Christian YouTube channel. I have always tried so hard to infiltrate God in my channel, although that while trying to do that, I not consciously pull myself away farther and farther away from God, and I realize it once it's too late. I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about my experience, and this is my experience. This does not have to relate to anybody else but me. This was my experience with God. If through my experience you are being touched and the Lord is making you feel this kind of way, well then my advice to you is to listen wholeheartedly and trust God. If you are pretty old on my channel, if you have been following me for almost 2 years that I have been filming, actually I think it's been 2 years since I've been filming, and if you've been following me for those 2 years, you know that my videos are makeup based, which is what I usually do on here. I'll do reviews on products. I even got stuff in PR, and I've always wanted a YouTube channel. I've always wanted to experiment and play with makeup. I felt like that was my output. I felt like that was my way of coping with life, coping with things that I had gone through as a teenager, as a kid, as a child. This was just my way of expressing myself. When I discovered makeup, I was going through so many insecurities and so many doubts about myself as a person, my perception on life, my perception on just me. I'm sorry if you guys hear me a little stuffy. I'm just really congested right now. I don't know if it's because of seasonal allergies, but bear with me. As I was saying, ever since I was a young girl, from the first memory I have of discovering makeup, I had so many insecurities that had built up along the years. I had things that I was dealing with that my family did not know I was actually dealing with. Depression and anxiety, and I was going through so many things, and I was really young when I found makeup. We were raised up in a strict Pentecostal home, And if you don't know what Pentecostal is, it's just the denomination where my Christian church was based on. It's just Pentecostal Christians. That's just my denomination. More apostolic, really, if we're being honest. There wasn't a lot of makeup. There wasn't a lot of things back in the day that we could play with. And I'm talking about skirt all the way down to the ankles, Pentecostal Christian. So it just looked like a whole different world to me. I don't know, I fell in love with it, with escaping of yourself for a little bit. Just the beauty of makeup just made me so intrigued, and I fell so in love with it. Years later, I discovered YouTube, makeup videos, all these beauty influencers that I was just obsessed with. Again, I was still living with my grandmother, and the rules were still pretty strict. She kind of along the years let us use cover up makeup, which is like a little bit of foundation, maybe some powder, and that's it. Of course, me being me, I've never had enough self-control to tell myself no. I always wanted to know what was on the other side. I always wanted to see what would happen if I did a little bit of more this, or if I did a little something extra. I always had a saying, and it was like, I just want to pop. Just basically meant I just wanted to stand out. If I didn't say this in one of my previous videos, as a kid, I was bullied because of my religion and because the way I was carrying myself, which sucked. That is what left me really self-conscious about a lot of things. So I just wanted to stand out. I just wanted to be that girl that looked amazing from a distance, and everyone had to admire and had to view her. I just wanted to be seen. So that's when I didn't know how to have self-control, and I used that saying a lot. I would always say, I just want to pop. If I would go get a dress, I'd say, I want a dress that'll make me pop. I started doing a little more and getting away with a little more of everything. My grandma did pick up along the way a few things that I had put a little extra into my routine, my getting ready routine, and she talked to me about it, and she told me that it was just that she didn't allow me to do all of that it was just a little bit, and that I don't know when to stop. So I ignored it, being my rebellious self. I kept buying more makeup, and little by little started just wearing more. Even with pants, like along the years, I bought more jeans, and I wanted them skinnier and tighter and tighter and tighter, and I didn't know my limit. I would just do more all the time, do more. My grandma would tell me it's not bad, it's just that it's what's in excessive that is bad, you know. I just needed more. So I've always wanted a YouTube channel. I've always wanted to just be in front of the camera and just share with everybody what I learned and what I've picked up along the years. I have always been a person that I like to share, and sometimes I share a little bit too much, and my family all tell me I talk a lot, but that's just who I am. I think a lot is what defines me. I do a lot of everything. So little by little, I started doing videos, and then I would delete them because I would either get made fun of or something was just being said that made me uncomfortable, so I completely stopped. When I stopped doing videos, I kept learning and I kept acquiring more skill, and I can tell you that I became more and more talented, and that was just something I was artistically good at. I've always loved art, I've always loved to draw, and I think that's where everything tied in together. I felt like my face was the canvas, and I just wanted to paint. I've been in church ever since I can remember. I've always asked myself, why weren't we allowed to do certain things? And through my own experience, I realized that this is gonna bring a lot of controversy, and that's what I don't want. I'm gonna say this right now, I'm gonna say it as a disclaimer. I am not saying all of this so that you guys can leave makeup, or if you guys listen, if that's what you guys like to do, if that's something that you feel like the Lord has not talked to you or spoken to you about, then please don't stop doing it, because I stopped. Like, don't judge. I still want this to be a non-judgmental zone, so please don't judge my walk with God. Please don't judge what I've lived, and I ask you guys the same. Please be respectful to one another in the comments down below, because this is my story, this is my experience. This doesn't have to be the same experience. God works with everyone, I believe, in a different way. What might be bad for me or harmful for my spiritual life might not be for you, and that's okay. You shouldn't feel bad about that. But with me, I just feel like I owe you guys an explanation to why I haven't done any makeup videos. A lot of you guys were a little angry, a lot unfollowed, and a lot unsubscribed, but that's okay. I am not angry at it. If this is not what you're into, if you don't watch me for me, that's okay. This is just my life now, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm happy with where I've gotten, and I don't regret anything. So going back, is that I've never really known my limits. Basically what I'm just trying to say with this, and I had an experience not too long ago, couple months back, where I had a moment in my life where I questioned a lot of things, and I had just recently gotten back to church. I think it's been almost a year and a half since I have given my life to Christ all over again, because I reconciled, because I was out. And a lot of my life I've just been in and out, and you guys will understand why once I keep explaining and talking to you guys about it. I was asking God, like, why is it that I've been a year and some change and I have not seen nothing? And it's not that I wanted to be up in a platform, and it's not that I just know, it's that I know the ministry that I had, and I recognized it. Like, before I would preach, before I would sing, and there would be a manifestation of the Holy Spirit, and it's not because it was me, it was because I was a vessel that God used. And I wanted to be used by God, and I wanted to just be that vessel for a really long time. I missed having God use me. I missed the presence of God living inside me. And I asked God, like, why is it that I'm going to church consecutively? I am every service. If I miss one, it's because I'm really sick, and sometimes even when I'm sick, I go. I would ask God and say, why is it that I've been here for so long, and yes, I was taking part, and yes, I was trying to serve God. I still had that relationship with God, and I still prayed, and I still talked with God, and I felt like I had that relationship, but I didn't have the connection. Does that make sense? I prayed and everything, and I asked God all the time, like, what is going on? One day I'm praying, and I asked the Lord this question again, and I said, God, I don't see nothing. Everything you promised me about my ministry, everything you said to do, I'm trying, and I don't see nothing happening in my life. My ministry is not manifesting. I'm just at a point where it's just become a routine to go to church and a routine to have this relationship with you, and there's just nothing extraordinary in my thought happening. That's the moment when I had never actually heard the voice of God before, and it was such a calming yet secure voice. I was talking to him, and I said, I've given you permission to do with me how you want, and nothing is happening. And I heard the voice of God tell me, did you really give me the permission? Have you really let me work in your life the way you're saying that you did? Did you really do it wholeheartedly? And that was the moment that I had a moment where I just had all these flashbacks in my head and I had all these memories. That's just what I saw in my mind. And I saw how many times God had asked me to leave certain things behind, and I would just be like, no, Lord, I really love this. I've learned to love this so much and I just can't let it go. And that's eventually what made me stray away from God's presence and made me stray away from the church and made me stray away from my relationship with God. It took me a while to realize that. A lot of going in and out, a lot of breaking my promises to God, a lot of breaking my promises to myself. With tears in my eyes, I told God, you're right, I haven't. And then I heard his voice again for the second time in that same moment, and he had told me, are you gonna let me work, or are you gonna keep putting your hand and keep messing up my work? And that's when I said, God, I'm not gonna put my hands in it anymore. You keep forming me the way you want to form me, and you keep breaking me if you have to break me. But I want to feel your presence and I want to follow you. I want to completely be yours. And that was the moment where things that I wanted to do just weren't that interesting. Things that I wore just didn't call my attention anymore. One of those things that went down that path was the makeup. Like, I asked God, I said, if this is what you're asking of me, to completely remove myself from the makeup or to do it for a little while because I'm doing things in excessive, I want you to give me the confidence that I need, that I've always needed, to love myself without it. Like I said, makeup became a way of me coping from my reality and escaping from my reality. So I began to look at myself in the mirror every day, and I remember just feeling confident and not needing so much makeup, and just putting maybe a few dots of concealer sometimes if I didn't sleep the night before, really small dots of really thin concealer underneath, and then some powder, and I'll be out. And a lot of my family were a little shocked, and I feel like they didn't want to say anything, but they were kind of thinking I was going through some crisis, because I'm the kind of girl that's always with a full face of makeup. I'm always beat, okay? And I don't know, I just felt beautiful in my own skin. I felt great. I hated my eyebrows before, and I loved my eyebrows. I completely love them. I put a little powder here and there on top of them. That's just what I would do, just do cover up makeup. And that is not like me. I wouldn't even wear foundation. It felt good. My skirts, I didn't like to wear them too much. One, it was cold. I don't know, in certain skirts, like loose skirts, I just felt so unattractive, if that makes sense. And God has shaped that as well. I'm not done. God is continuing to work in me, but I have the satisfaction of saying that I completely gave God the freedom to do with me however he wanted, and I am seeing growth in my ministry for the glory of God. All the glory will always belong to him, and I will always give to him. And I did my first preaching in years, and boy, did that feel great. That felt so great. It felt almost instinctual, and a lot of people were telling me after the service, like, the way you represent yourself up there, the way you show yourself up there is so confident, and you just look like you know what you're doing. And it's not that. I know that it was him who was speaking the whole time and using me as a vessel, but at the same time, it's just something I felt like I was naturally born to do. I always try to fit in somebody's mold or the world's mold, and I've always tried to make myself just be there. And one thing I realized, that no matter how many times or how hard I try to make myself fit in the world or in worldly things, I always felt out of place. And it was because that seed has always been planted in my heart of God and the Lord and his things, his word. It's just all been implanted in me. So it's like something I felt instinctual to do. I just feel instinctual to be in his presence. I feel it like it's natural to me. That was just my experience, and like I said, I'm still being broken, I'm still being shapen. My main prayer every day is just, if there's something of me that you don't like it, just take it out. Like, just the same way you've been doing, just break me, rearrange me, pick up my pieces, and just redo me. It's been a long time since I've actually sat down and did a full face of makeup, like I said earlier, so I felt weird. Maybe it's the first time, since it's the first time in a long time that I've done it, or maybe it's that, I don't know, but I just know that God has spoken to me, and I have that connection now with God enough to know when God is telling me enough. This does not mean that I'm gonna stop doing YouTube. This just means that my channel is taking a different turn and is also being led by God, because I told God, listen, I love this, you know I do. I love being in front of the camera, I love talking, I love filming, I love editing, I just love doing this. And I asked him, I need you to give me something else, something I need you to put in my heart, something that I know I'm gonna love to do, but not do an excessive, something that just won't hurt my spiritual life. I got this idea. I know I'm not the first YouTube channel that does this, but since I have been practicing and dressing more modestly, I wanted to make my channel more about modesty fashion, how it doesn't just have to be only old school. I just want people to realize that modesty is beautiful, modesty still can go on trend. And yeah, it's just everything. So my channel now will be focused on modesty fashion, modest fashion, and maybe some makeup tips here and there, hair, all that good jazz. So I don't know, I'm just going along with whatever happens on my channel, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm very content. And yeah, I'm gonna read a Bible verse for you guys. I just have to say this. La palabra de Dios se lee en el nombre del Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. Amen. I don't know how to say that in English. I'm gonna practice it. So it's just a custom that I have before reading the Bible. Proverbs 31:10. And it says like this. I'm gonna read it in Spanish and then I'm gonna read it in English. En Proverbios 31:10. Mujer virtuosa, ¿quién la hallará? Porque su estima sobrepasa largamente a la de las piedras preciosas. Read it here. A wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. I just wanted to leave you guys with that Bible verse. Women, you are full of virtue. You are worth far more than rubies. You're worth far more than any rock that is expensive. You are a daughter of a king, and if you feel like, you know, the Lord is trying to tell you something, please be obedient and listen. And don't be like me, that I had to learn the hard way and I had to just go through it. We must continue to pray for everything that's going on in the world, for everyone. Love one another, respect one another, give hope to one another. So that's everything. I love you guys. I still love you guys so much. I missed you guys so much. And I see that a few did subscribe, brand new to my channel, so welcome. If you like what you see, I'm not gonna delete any of the old videos because I feel like they can be instructional for some of those that still practice makeup, and also just because I like to look back at my journey, and I'm very proud of the person that I've become and am still becoming. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you and God bless.